should enjoy the fruits of life instead of chasing coins. Cause oh, it's a beautiful day. Isn't it all? So come on, let's play. Forget the rush, you're in and find a good spot. Sit down and join us as we sing a good song. Keep back the lyrics and just follow along. Oh, we got plenty of time. Begin it easy, won't cost you a dime. Throw another log onto the fire. Because oh, it's a beautiful day. No, come on, let's play.
Yeah. Bow, bow.
I like that little picture.
You like that picture?
Yeah.
That's where I want to be right now, on top of a mountain. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, Running Bear. Hey, Shelly. Rain Dancer. Real Rockin' Robin.
You're all here.
Diana.
Thank you. I always find it amazing that you guys take time out of your lives to see us on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock. It's kind of late for some people. I'm getting to the age where
9 is late.
9 o'clock is kind of late.
I've got to go to bed. It's getting late.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, hello, tribe.
Hello, tribe.
Hey, Vicky. It's
Hi, Vicky. Sorry.
It's okay. I have been following the Hurricane Helene news like every time I go on YouTube, and I think YouTube has picked up on the fact that I have been searching for it because now everything I get is. So that's why a topic tonight is a little bit of that. We have a lot going on right now. I think we mentioned at the last live we have searches we wanted to get through this weekend. We've gotten through them. It was tough.
Sort of.
Getting back into it,
and
you guys.
Let me just say, you're
Hey,
lucky
Linda
we're
Baker.
still alive and that we have all our limbs.
Especially me. Although today you did have. I'll tell you guys a little story. I'm not going to give you the whole search, but
shoot, I know what you're going to say.
My sliding yesterday, the gash. Yeah. So you guys, yesterday there was a place on Boone Lake, and you'll see this in a couple weeks. Tomorrow is going to be our scouting trip to a state park west of Rogersville that has been our focal point up until once we had all of this will come out. We have it kind of.
You got to finish one of your thoughts
in a series. We have this all in a series, and we're going to be showing you our scouting video tomorrow of the state park. And we don't really explain in the video why. We're like, we're keeping the reasoning to ourselves for now, because there's a lot we want to explore and do before we release it. But next Sunday is our live talking about our logic.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the first time, I think, that we deeply entertain a theory we haven't been willing to publicly vocalize a lot.
Yeah,
so again, just a theory.
It's just one of many.
But you'll notice we're taking it very seriously, and then today we did the second part, and I don't want to really talk much about what we did, where we looked, or what we did or didn't find, but it was interesting.
To be all secretive, silly, and whatever. We're just
trying to protect the location,
holding it close to our chest.
Yeah, trying to protect the location until we're satisfied we're where we want to be to release it. So people keep telling us to be careful about what we release, so we're trying to. But
Well, Vicky, you know it.
I need it tonight, you guys. I am in pain. Yesterday I went on a search on my own, and it was, and by the way, it's Cabernet Sauvignon, I think.
Yeah. Or bourbon barrel aged. It's really good. I possibly am drinking some too.
Yes. So yesterday, there's a place on Boone Lake that it sounds like Cheers. If you guys maybe
Sorry if you don't agree with
may
it.
or may not heard of him, he's a TikToker called Spirit Whisperer, something like that. Our mentor, who we haven't heard from since she had grandbabies, we haven't heard from
But she's
her,
okay, right?
which I assume is because she has grandbabies
Girl,
now.
if you're out there, please give us a call.
Hopefully nothing's gone wrong.
Possibly.
Yeah, hopefully she's okay. But
Vicky.
this location, she sent me this link to this TikToker. I watched it and I'm like, actually sounds kind of interesting because it's across from Boone Dam. And you guys all know all the dams around here I'm interested in because of the whole sound thing that I heard in a video.
It'd be crazy though if it was Boone Dam. We live here.
Right on the same
That would
lake.
be
Yeah, it would be crazy. So yesterday there's a section there based on his video I wanted to get to. So you guys, I took my boat, the inflatable boat, threw it in the Jeep, and of course, the boat requires the pump, the air pump, you plug in, it's electric, and well, it's got a battery, and you charge the battery. Yes, the Ernie video, Rain Dancer, for the sound that I was interested in finding, and a whole bunch of other gear, and I basically drove to the boat landing, the TVA Boone Dam boat launch. And so the series of events in that search, I left at like noon, around just after noon.
Say that I
Hey, Steven.
was safe and sound at home.
Jen decided to stay home yesterday. She's like, I'll go with you on Sunday. We're going to be searching hard. Go do your thing. So I was alone on Saturday. I just, you guys, and I didn't record most of it. I missed, well, because
shoot, you should have.
It's hard to record an accident because you're not doing it intentionally. So I set up backed my Jeep down about halfway down the ramp to the grassy area, put the inflatable boat on this grass area, and started using the air pump to fill it up. Well, I was in such a rush getting all the gear I was gonna need to search that shoreline, which included the drone, land search equipment, my backpack, all my gear. I just forgot to fully charge the air pump. So I've got the boat half aired up and the air pump runs out of juice. So
I feel bad for you, but I'm glad I wasn't there in some ways.
I plugged that into the Jeep, and I had to wait like 30, 40 minutes for that to get more juice so I could finish airing up the boat. Couldn't really do the floor. I didn't tell you that part. The floor,
you didn't do the floor.
not fully, so it was soft. It was like it didn't have a hard, but it still worked. I had my one seat in the back. And yeah, Robin, if I had recorded all of those, you guys would have been cracking up. Just everything that went wrong on this.
He looked rough when he got home.
Yeah. Yeah. So I finally got it aired up enough. I got the boat down to and this boat launch, if you guys aren't from around here, you don't know it. You guys in my Tesla.
Yeah, we don't have one of those.
This boat launch is concrete. There's no land, there's no dock. It's just a concrete slab that they have
ramp.
They have like cracks in it that they've made that's supposed to have grip for the for the vehicles anyway. And so I pull the boat down to the water. I put the back end in the water, put all my gear in, and I'm like, how do I get this 25, 30-pound motor into the boat? There's no dock. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do like I did before with us. I'm going to take off my shoes and my socks and walk around the back of the boat and just latch it on. I mean, I just rolled up my pants, right? So I've got this 30-pound motor in my hands and I'm barefoot and I'm walking down the concrete boat launch.
See, he doesn't tell me these stories till like live, so I can't say anything.
Do you guys see where this is going? So bare feet, combined with concrete slab covered with moss. It's not a good combination. Let me just put it that way.
I can't imagine.
Bare skin on moss. It's like walking on ice. Yeah.
I think he's getting on up to that one, right?
I'll tell you what, Robin. It's like more than a fall. It was my whole body. I was like skateboarding on the slab down into the river. Realized I couldn't stop myself.
Carrying the motor?
I still had the motor, and I'm like skateboarding down the moss. I'm like, I'm gonna end up in the middle of the lake. So I put down the motor, and in the process of putting down the motor, my feet slipped out from under me. I landed on my stomach in the water, and my whole body, you guys, is still sliding down into the lake. Like I had no way to stop myself from going into the lake, and I would have had to like swim back to the boat once I was able to float.
But you had what happened to the
The
motor?
motor was
Sorry, I do worry about you, but
the motor was half in the water, so thankfully that wasn't budging, and I was able to grab the motor, which stopped me from sliding, and slowly crawl. It was if I could have recorded it, it would have been the funniest blooper ever.
See this happening?
Nobody was there, thankfully.
You're lucky.
I would have published it for the internet to see. I honestly don't care. It was funny. It was really it. No, it was. Since I didn't get hurt too bad, the only problem is that somehow I got this gash.
Huge gash on his leg.
I got this gash all the way around the front of my leg. I don't know if it was from the propeller of the motor. I don't know where it came from. But when I got out of the water, actually, it took me until I got home. And I'm like, my leg really hurts. And I lifted up my pants, my leg, and this huge gash all over me.
So this morning, he asked me if I have any bandages. Not last night.
I took a shower.
This morning.
I washed it off, but I'm like, I don't know. Well, our daughters were here. We were celebrating my birthday on the weekend, and I was in a hurry, so I didn't really put anything on it. But I woke up this morning, and yeah, it was
It was a day from our end.
It was red.
With me and the girls.
Yep.
We were just here sitting around waiting for Ryan to be done, texting him, and he's like, well, I still have to do a drone. And Kayla looked at me and she goes, when can I get out of here? We haven't even had dinner yet.
Thank you, Linda.
And she didn't want to eat what we had to eat. And I don't know.
It was a good night. We watched a movie.
We had fun though.
And we had chicken, I think.
Popeyes.
It was a good night.
It was good.
Yep. And the next morning I realized I should probably dress up my wound. I did. Yeah, this morning. The next morning. Before our next search.
Which was today.
Today was a lot of crawling and sticking a pole deep into places. Sorry, it was an ongoing joke all day. We were searching holes, and Jen and I have very weird humor, and we just kept on.
Can't help it.
No, we're the couple that keeps going. That's what she said. That's what she said, and it was.
If anybody were with us, they would be like, "Oh, you guys, really." It can get annoying after a while.
I don't know. So Rain Dancer, it's been a while.
Oh, great. Now he's going to freak out.
No, last night, this morning when I felt the pain, I'm like, yeah, can't remember the last time I had a tetanus shot. So I hope it's not some rusty metal piece.
Well, at least you know if it was the motor, it's brand new. It's not rusty.
Exactly. Painted white. Yeah. So yeah, it's painted metal, not rusted. If that's what it was. I don't know what it was. So
it was something.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I have been obsessed with Hurricane Helene, I think it's the E at the end, so Helene, right?
I would think.
Helene. Anyway,
Helene.
You guys, man. So I posted a community post about the hurricane. There was this news thing I came across. Yeah, I know the water is nasty. That's what makes me nervous. But I did shower after, so I'm hoping that cleaned it off.
Oh, I thought she was talking about the Florida.
No, the it's amoeba looking water. Honestly,
it's perfectly swimmable.
But for those of you watching this after, I'm going to try to stay on task because I know people are clicking on this to hear about the myths.
This is interesting, and I probably won't say much, believe it or not, because I
Don't worry, FEMA cleaned it out.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
I didn't know.
Your reaction is really important. Like a
Yeah.
lot of these things, I think I want your opinion. We have a lot to cover, you guys. It's really fascinating stuff. Some of the myths. So FEMA put out this page, and I'll show you guys in a second of
Oh,
debunking the
you
myths that are out
cleared it
there.
out?
He's joking. This is Steven. Steven
Sorry,
Jones.
Steven.
They FEMA defended itself from a lot of the claims going around out there on social media and just in general from the communities that have been hit. People are saying that their response wasn't enough. They're saying that
Mhm.
they don't have the funding. They're bankrupt. All these.
Gee, I wonder why by this point.
I even had subscribers, you guys, reaching out to me saying that HARP, HAARP, up in Alaska, controls the weather, and that the people, I'm not joking, this is a real thing and a lot of people believe it, and I'm not making fun of anyone out there who believes this, but
And if you do, I just really want to know. Like, do you?
there are people
And if
out there
so,
who believe that some in power controlled the hurricane and drove it to the southern states to wipe out people who would vote for Trump. Don't It's just a belief.
wait, people who would vote for Trump?
To wipe out like a
People
block
who
of
would
voters
vote for Trump.
or vote
So it was
Republican.
a Democratic
There was
move.
actually a politician, I think her last name is Green. She's from Georgia, representative, I believe, who actually put this conspiracy theory out there. A government representative put a conspiracy like that out there.
Is that, do you know that, or is that just
It was in the news.
hearsay?
No, it was in the news. Her quote. And you guys, there's one thing. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on hurricanes. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on FEMA. One area that I do consider myself an expert in is the typical conspiracy theories. And one that's been out there for forever has been that some in power are using HARP up in Alaska to control weather. And I'm just telling you, and I'm going to show you some things, some evidence. You can believe it or not. I know a lot of people think any evidence that you show that debunks those rumors about HARP are like created by the government. But HARP was created for physics research, for military experiments. Basically, yes. Okay, here's the problem with it. It is kind of manipulating the upper atmosphere, but it's in a way that they use high frequency radio waves, sort of like microwave, which again creeps people out, but it's a microwave in a way, that frequency of radio waves. Much. They have a huge array of antennas up there. If you saw the field of antennas you have, you'd be blown away, and it creeps people out. But what they do, they experiment with targeted microwave, like that frequency of radio waves. It's kind of like radiation, but it's like a doctor trying to explain, like a human body in a way that.
So you know that much about it? Then you
well, in electrical engineering, you learn about radio waves and radio frequencies, and you have a whole range of ultra low. You guys have heard of UHF TV ultra. Sorry, that's ultra high frequency. But there's also very low frequency waves, like long waves, right? Ultra high frequency is like really, really high, and microwaves, they call them micro because
they're small.
The space between the waves are really, really tiny. So it's really, really high frequency, and high frequency vibrates molecules. That's how microwaves work. Now, what they do with HARP, they experiment with targeted waves into the upper, I think they call it the, I can't remember the name of the level, the atmospheric level, starts with an I, but it's targeted, slightly heating up a small little area.
Is it incubus?
Something like that, yeah. Really high up, and they heat it up slightly to like see what the effect is of heating the upper atmosphere to do experiments on global warming. The military has done experiments slightly heating up the, thank you, Stephen, ionosphere. They have done experiments with heating up sections of the ionosphere to see if it helps with long range communications. Long range communications. Are you like, yeah, right?
Sorry, I didn't hide that very
Yeah. Long range
It's
communications
just like staring.
bounce the communications literally off the upper levels of the atmosphere, the ionosphere. And so the military has done experiments, and this is public now. It wasn't public when they were doing it, but they did experiments with seeing if slightly heating it up can bounce it, can help extend long range communications. There's a lot of really high end, hard to understand physics research that's done at this facility. But here's the thing, you guys. Heating up a small area of the ionosphere is sort of like taking a dime out to the beach and tossing it into the ocean and someone believing that you tossing a dime into the ocean can control a tidal wave. Because if you think about the ionosphere, how big the sky is, you look at the biggest view of the ocean you've ever seen.
To be able to target it, I
How
would think.
how big the ocean is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of the volume of water in the ocean. The sky, the ionosphere, is much larger than the ocean. How much of the earth is ocean? Like 3/4 of the earth, I think.
I think so.
So 3/4 of the earth is ocean. The entire earth is ionosphere. Think of the volume of area and the volume of air, the volume of energy it would take to affect the ionosphere.
To be able to pinpoint where.
Pinpoint the clouds you want to control, the amount of energy you would have to control to direct the direction of a hurricane. so I'm not just gonna, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, Ryan, shut up, it's your opinion. Okay, fine. Let's look at some of the stuff behind it.
What are you doing now?
You can respond to comments. I'm going to call up some research.
See, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm not
What?
a science person. The dry ice.
Yes, seeding, cloud seeding, which is another true thing. They will
I didn't
inject.
even
It's
know
actually not dry ice. It's particulates, certain particulates with some chemicals. I knew the name of the chemicals. Not like I want to say it was a metallic kind of. Anyway, yes, they've been trying to seed clouds, and I'm going to show you a scientist who yes, I know. I'm going to show you a scientist who explains what he's experimented with, cloud seeding and the effects of it, and what it would take to actually control a hurricane. Should we start there, or should we start with all of the FEMA rumors and work through them? I just do the FEMA.
Like it's going to take a while.
There's a lot, you guys, and let's we'll get to HAARP.
People like me watching this.
That's why I'm like, let's get away from that science stuff.
I know a lot of them are really interested in it.
And we'll get back to it. I want to talk about all of the rumors. Now, FEMA put out a hurricane rumor response page, okay? And because of all these rumors that are going around, I will tell you that a lot of them were pretty clear debunking of the rumors. Some of them, FEMA, not quite. Like, I read some of the responses they had to the rumors, trying to debunk them. One thing you guys hopefully you know about me is I'm the first one to debunk a rumor if I think, because I believe, you know how much I believe in the truth. The truth is the only thing that matters to me. And so if something is false, it's false. If it's not false and FEMA says it's false, entirely false, that I'm like, I don't care if they're FEMA, I don't care if the US government. Some of the things they said, they're defending FEMA, but they leave out some facts. And part of it has to do with turning away donations, things like that. Nah, FEMA says, no, it's not happening. But they're talking about FEMA. FEMA has not been turning away donations, but I know for a fact donations have been confiscated. I'll show you a video of a witness, a YouTuber who was working with local local resources, and they had their stuff taken. I'll show you proof of that. So it's not never happening. Maybe FEMA's never doing it, but when you talk about local governments, when you talk about local authorities who want to control the things coming into their area, they use the excuse of they want to be able to account for all of it. It's happening. So,
Yeah.
you know, some stuff is false. A lot of stuff is false. Some stuff, don't say it's completely false
I
if
got a
it's not
question for
completely
Steven.
false. Yeah.
Okay, dumb question, Steven. Is that because of the lack of rain for crops? Is that a stupid question?
That's exactly why they've been trying to do it.
Okay.
Cloud seeding is primarily to try to increase the precipitation in the clouds. They have been moderately successful in some places, but
Right.
the one thing the scientists will say is they've tried really hard to try to increase the buildup of water in the clouds, but they don't know if they contributed to it. Like it might have rained anyway, and the cloud was already creating rain, and so they were trying to speed up the process, and they couldn't really measure if they were
I see.
sped it
So
up.
you don't know if it worked or not.
They still don't know if it works completely. They cannot create a hurricane or a tornado. It's too much energy. You guys think about the amount of energy in a hurricane, the amount of wind. If you think about, have you seen pictures of the Smoky Mountains? When right after a rain on a hot sunny day, it rains, and then you see pictures of the Smoky Mountains. And why do you think they call them the Smoky
Yeah,
Mountains?
tons.
It's so warm and humid
right.
down here that there's this mass volume of water that's evaporating from the ground, from the trees, and it creates this fog, this smoke, Smoky Mountains. The energy of the sun on all of that water across this big area of land, the earth, it creates this updraft. Like in the mountains, people know in the holler, like the air currents the mountains will actually control the air currents, huge air currents, you guys. And then during this fog, Smoky Mountain fog, this huge volume of water is going up into the sky all over the region. Like you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. That's a lot of energy. The sun's energy over a whole area heating up that much water. If you measured that energy for humans to be able to replicate that kind of energy, it's like,
I don't know.
by comparison, solar panels. We try to do this. We put a whole field of solar panels out there and look at the fields of solar panels, right? And then you look at the amount of energy they can harvest from the sun. It's so hard. It's so hard for them to do because humans aren't capable of creating that much energy or controlling that much energy without it releasing. That's what the atomic bomb is. It's humans trying to use that volume of energy and control it, and they can't. So the amount of energy required to control a hurricane, you guys, is that massive. And you can't, humans have not figured out how to do that yet. I know a lot of people think the government has black projects. I told everyone, like, when I researched this stuff, one of the first things I did is that the scientist in the Science and Technology Division with the CIA, that I was friends with for 6 years or so, and I talked to him. One of the things I believed in, look, I suspected HARP had something else going on. I really did when I first started doing conspiracy research, and we were talking about this other scam that I was investigating that involved that Air Force guy. But as one of the conversations, I'm like, hey, okay, can I just ask you a question? And I'm like, you ever hear about HARP? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of physicists do work at HARP. I'm like, do they really do, like, are there black projects? And I know you can't say anything, but
give me the side eye.
Just like say I cannot comment, or I can't, I can't deny or confirm or deny. He burst out laughing so hard, and he went into this whole diatribe because he's a physicist, and he went into this whole diatribe about how insane those theories are, because it's essentially a huge experimental. It's for physicists to do
Mhm.
experiments. And he's the one who told me about that whole, the amount of space that they can actually control by heating the ionosphere is so minuscule. It would take like several atomic bombs to actually have an effect on any weather patterns. And they just don't do it. That facility doesn't have that kind of energy to control the weather. Humans can't control the weather. I am 100% convinced of that. I know a lot of people won't believe that. And I've actually gotten messages from people, you guys, and I respect anyone who wants to believe what they want to believe. I've had messages from people telling me to look into HARP and to look into weather control in relation to Hurricane Helene. And I'm just
People
telling
want
you,
to believe that's right.
it's not a thing. That's one of the number one conspiracies about this.
Let's move on because I've fallen asleep like 3 times
Okay.
already.
So FEMA put out this page. All right. And they go through the rumors. I'm going to go through their rumors. I'm going to tell you which ones. And we're going to cover, as we go through the rumors, I've got some videos I'm going to show you guys of people who've gone into the region, people who have interviewed people. One woman, we're going to get to this video where one woman actually works in search and rescue in that area. Her community was just decimated up in the mountains. The river widened, and we're going to get to her interview in a minute, but she describes some of the things around the thing I posted in my community post where people were smelling, trigger warning, people were smelling deceased people. There were claims that bodies were being found in different places. And that's one thing, one of the rumors that, depending on who you talk to, depending on where you go, you have some people saying that is such misinformation. One guy went into Chimney Rock, is that the name of the town? And showed there's nothing like that going on, but different areas have different levels of death, of destruction. And so we're going to get to her interview where she confirms what she saw. It's fascinating. But we're going to work through these rumors. And the first one is,
Thank you, Robin.
yes, thank you. Trigger warning. I think it has been over 7 years, Diana. I can't remember the last time I got my tetanus shot. The stuff we do, I really should get one. This one, this isn't really a popular one. FEMA is preventing residents and companies from removing debris. Okay. This is actually one that FEMA says is entirely false, and that's not true. It says FEMA is not blocking or preventing any aspect of debris removal, which is handled by local governments. What they're saying is they're defending FEMA, and they don't even say, they do kind of hint right here. If you were affected, check with your local community or municipal government. So you guys, you may be hearing of people getting turned away from areas. Actually, not long ago, there was a news article or a video of, I think it was Unicoi. Have you guys in the local area seen this? Where the Unicoi authorities, maybe the sheriff, said they had caught people from out of town. Let me switch back here. They had caught people from out of town in the area, might have been Elizabethton or Unicoi, and they almost arrested them. They were like, "What are you doing here?
Wow.
Do you have family here?" They almost arrested them. They said, "Get the hell out." And they claimed that they were like disaster tourists, but
What are disaster tourists?
they don't want people from outside the area who don't have family going in.
Oh, that they just like there for the
to get pictures,
Yeah.
video, which a lot of YouTubers actually are going in and doing that. So maybe.
Somebody has to.
But to say they aren't turning people away who are just like going in on their own and not working with an organization, I do believe they are turning away people who are just trying to go in on their own because they want to organize it. And I'll show you a video where they say that clearly, that they are trying to control the effort. Kind of makes sense, I guess.
It's because of safety. They can't say it's okay unless they know everybody's safe.
Right.
Like,
no, they have emergency crews trying to use the roads to get in. So it makes sense. You don't want a whole bunch of
for
people.
coming, like people who have no experience doing that sort of thing. Like they want to make sure everybody's safe because
Everybody's safe.
they don't know the protocols and all that stuff.
But again, you know how I am with truth. Don't say something's not true when it's partially true. They're turning people away. You can say why, but don't say this is false, period. Like, I hate that. Don't do that. The people who write these pages up sometimes, they're a little bit overly skeptical. Like, they try to take the whole false or true. Well, sometimes actually down below they do say
Well,
misleading,
this
so
one,
that's good.
we could have gotten $1,200.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Immediately without power.
Right?
Yeah. To
Right.
determine, I want to get to the one that's important, you guys, that's out there all the time about FEMA is this $750. So there's a rumor that FEMA will only provide $750 to disaster survivors to support their recovery. This is false because what they are doing is, it says right here, they are giving people an upfront $750 for short-term needs, and they say it right here. It's like immediate things. You lose power, you lose your ability to like take care of
Right.
yourself. So they are talking about short-term basic needs: food, water, baby formula,
I mean,
breastfeeding supplies, medication, emergency supplies.
that's kind of a lot of money to offer everyone. I mean, there are so many people.
But they are, and
Yeah.
everyone, look, you guys, you can, if you or your family is affected by the flooding, if you have any way to communicate with them, ask them, tell them to call that number and apply.
Highlight.
This number, 1-800-621-3362. They can apply and they can get that payment. We're going to get to the having to pay it back, Robin, because that's another one that people are saying quite a bit. Not entirely wrong in some cases, but it's not 100% true either. So again, we got to get clarity out there on these things. The 750 for most people does not have to be paid back at all. It's literally a grant. It's serious needs assistance. I will say what it says down below is the people who have to pay it back are the people who have insurance coverage, and they need this short-term money before the insurance kicks in, before they get the insurance payment. So it's short-term emergency needs. Anyone who doesn't have insurance has no way to pay it back. They do not. It says right here, it is not a loan. They don't have to pay it back. There are some cases where if people are able to get money later from their insurance, then they have to pay it back. So that's the truth of that one. Again, they said blatant, they said straight up false. It's
Okay.
mostly
So
false.
I've let Linda ask a good question. Interesting.
I watched one today. The preacher of the church said they refused FEMA because they wanted to control how they're handling donated resources. Not sure if that's true. Not FEMA, local authorities, the local people who are managing the response to the disaster. Some of them are being very controlling of any donations that come into the area. Let's cover it now.
Really?
Let's cover it
Okay.
now. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys proof of this. That some of them, depending on the community, depending on the area, they are being, they are taking supplies and redirecting to their warehouses so they can take inventory.
They are.
They are. Some of them, in some cases.
There's so many churches around here, working.
I think
volunteering.
as long as the church is working through the right people in those communities, they won't be bothered. But again, I'm going to show you one video. Hopefully I can do this quickly. Okay. Hurricane aid stolen by the state of Tennessee. Let me show you guys this. I'm going to try to not show the whole thing, but I want to show you guys this
is interesting.
This happened to these people. This guy, if you don't mind, let me put the link to his channel in the chat.
Wish I knew how to do all this stuff.
It's Mr. Guns and Gear channel. He's got a ton of subscribers. He doesn't need my help, but you know what? I'm going to share it because I'm sharing his content. So he had this video that he put up immediately, not long after it actually happened to them. And let's go ahead and present. Share. This is the title is Hurricane Aid Stolen by the State of Tennessee.
Follow up on yesterday's video. In that video, I insinuated that law enforcement and federal agencies may be interfering with the aid shipments that are going into Western North Carolina and to Eastern Tennessee, but I didn't have any facts yet on this particular instance. And I have some now for sure that you guys are about to see here in just a second. So long story short, let me just tell you what happened and why I actually went out there yesterday. It wasn't, I mean, it was to deliver aid, obviously, and to showcase the great people out there. That absolutely is one thing I was doing. One thing I was also doing was trying to protect those people. I had received a report from people on the ground out there that one of my viewers, that the sheriff there was attempting to intimidate the workers, particularly Linda in this case, and threatening to seize all of the goods that had been donated by people, by all of you around the country to these people in need. All that distribution center that you guys saw the footage of yesterday, he was threatening to seize all of it. And the reason he had given her the day before and the other workers was that they needed accountability of it. Now, here's the thing. I fully understand if there is a sheriff who wants to help it. And
I'll show you guys. So take a look at the volume of stuff they've collected. That's from their viewers donating stuff. Okay.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Look how much stuff, all of the canned goods, tons of water, and it's
Baby supplies.
propane tanks on the truck. Like they've got a ton of stuff donated from people. They were going to deliver to people in the area in North Carolina, Tennessee that needed it. So
the reason he had given her the day before and the other workers was that they needed accountability of it. Now, here's the thing. I fully understand if there is a sheriff who wants to help distribute aid and identify gaps in the community where they can be goods can be delivered to. That's great sheriff work, right? So I got no issues with that. But by all accounts, from several people on the ground, that was not what was happening. Apparently, he was just simply trying to seize it and run all the deliveries through the county. Now, again, helping, got it. But we have learned throughout this disaster, now it is day, 7? As of when I'm recording this, after the disaster has happened, that these people have been without power, without homes, without food, without water, that the government is completely incapable at this point. 100%.
No, I won't say incapable. They are. There's plenty of videos that show the amount the National Guard, FEMA is doing a ton, and I've got a video showing that too. People are saying FEMA's not accepting their applications. A FEMA employee clarified that when they don't get approved, it's because they need more information. But people will not be denied aid if they don't have if they don't have insurance, already have things.
Right.
They want to check if people already have insurance, already have funding, things taken care of what they need.
That I see is that would take a long time to figure that all out. Like these people need water. Who cares if like a month ahead of time, like a month down the road, they're going to get money. They need water now.
Agreed. That's what
They
the
need stuff now.
That's what the $750 is supposed to cover.
Yeah, but you have $750. How are you going to get to the store?
That's what. Yes.
You know.
Yes, that is the logistics of it. They're not common sense, but yeah.
I don't think Amazon's going to drive it to a foot.
Yeah, true. They can't order off Amazon. That's right. So he does talk about what happened to this woman. I think it's over here.
Taking inventory of the goods that were coming in, but he wasn't doing anything crazy. I don't know if it was because he had a camera in his face or not. I have no idea. But he didn't do anything. Everything went well. All the supplies got dropped off, just like you guys saw. Last night, I get a phone call from someone who knows Linda, and apparently she was in tears. And essentially, the sheriff had told her that if she didn't leave, that she was going to be arrested, and that they were seizing all the goods that were donated.
I repeat, they were seizing all the goods that were donated. The Linda, yep, the woman who was there, who was accepting all those donations from his subscribers, they did seize her stuff. They did seize those goods. Now he goes into why, but just that people, when FEMA says, anybody says it's completely not true that things are getting seized. Look, here's one example, you guys, of a case where it definitely happened.
Yeah, but it's not FEMA. It sounds like it's
the local authorities. Yes, it's whoever's managing the response effort in these areas. They're the ones who are doing it because they're claiming they want to be able to account for everything coming in.
As you can imagine, that upset me, but I wanted to give it a day. I want to figure out what's going on. So I called the sheriff's office 10, 15 minutes ago, and you guys are going to see that footage right now.
Oh boy.
County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, my name is Mike. I was up there.
He doesn't
at
get to
the,
him until a little bit.
airport,
He
and
has to go
I
through
had
it
some
too.
questions about hello, ma'am. Effort to gather supplies.
What do you mean? What was shut down?
Sure. So I was working with the lady.
I'm not sure, but
He had to go
Mhm.
through a whole bunch of phone calls to get to the right guy.
he's the one that's over there.
Channel called the Mr. Guns and Gear channel. I was out there answers, and she was a little bit emotional last night.
Now he's
Essentially, she
talking
was
to
saying
him.
that the sheriff was telling her that she couldn't be continue collecting and distributing supplies, and I was trying to see if you knew anything about that.
Yeah, we knew nothing about that.
Okay.
It just came down like yesterday afternoon that everything that lands here at the airport's got to go over to the armory that the sheriff's department is in charge of.
Okay. And I mean, do you know?
Now you guys hear that? The armory that the sheriff's department is in charge of. That means it's the sheriff in that community they're going into that's doing this, not FEMA. FEMA is not taking supplies, confiscating supplies. It's not the national government. At the most, maybe the state, but it's whoever is in charge of this sheriff who's doing this. The sheriff wants control of everything going in and out. The local sheriff.
Any idea why? I'm just trying to figure it out because I put a video up yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but it's getting a lot of views and people are asking what happened. And I'm just trying to get answers, you know, if it's a good.
Okay. Well, I think it came down from the state.
Okay.
The state called up and said they've cut supplies off to it because Linda was, they thought commandeering stuff. Well, what she was doing was she was calling the individual organizations,
Right.
like Helping Hands and the churches and all that stuff to come up back.
So Robin, they do get to that, I believe, in a little bit. They're talking about accountability, and that's why they said they brought it to the armory so they could take inventory of the supplies.
And that was out of the protocol that was supposed to go down here.
And do you know whose protocol that is?
Yeah, her name's can't remember her name over there, and she's over in Nashville.
Okay, and is she like a director for the state?
She called Operation. Yeah, she called the Operation Airdrop people.
Okay.
And told them to because the word that she had got was Linda was stealing a bunch of stuff, and that's why they cut it off because it wasn't going through correct protocol. And so I had to work back and get them coming to our airport again because we desperately need supplies and food.
Right.
Yeah, this woman, Robin, the guy on the phone didn't say what organization she was with. He just said
it's the Operation Land Drop.
She contacted Operation Airdrop, but he did at least let it slip that it came down from the state, quote unquote. So it's some state organization that's trying to manage this, and they're the ones who did this. They tried to claim that Linda had stolen the goods. This guy knows she didn't because it was his subscribers who donated all of this stuff.
But what they said was that she was calling all these other organizations, asking them to bring their stuff to her.
I thought
That's
it was
what they said.
That's what they claimed. That's what they claimed, and that
doesn't sound
no,
good.
it sounds more like the story, in my opinion, was probably she was calling organizations to see who needed stuff. That's what I think. Yeah, that's just a
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I was there.
And I still got a bunch of places up here in the hills and all that. And, we understand completely what she was trying to do. I'm not on either side.
I'm not either.
On the airport, and I make sure the airplanes get in and out of here safe.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
And everybody gets offloaded in a timely fashion. So I don't have a dog in this hunt
Sure.
at all.
I get it.
She was trying to do what she was trying to do, her best thing, what she thought was the best, and almost got us jammed up and shut down.
Wow.
So.
And so the supplies that are coming in now, are they just going to the armory directly? Is that how it's working?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Anything that lands here now, we're loading up into trailers and taking them over into the armory where they account for it all, and then sort it and distribute it out to
you have to account for it all.
Hands and churches and stuff like that. They want to stay out of it and keep material gets out to our people, man. That's all.
Yeah.
That's my bottom line.
Yeah, no, I am too. That's what I'm trying to do as well. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
So as y'all just heard from Dave over there at the airport, he doesn't know, who's in the right and who's in the wrong. One thing I can tell you, again, from being on the ground, I have my doubts that Linda was stealing. I don't know the woman well, but I really doubt it, because a lot of the people there, they know her very well and they love her. I can absolutely 100% tell you that from being there in person. She doesn't even have a house, so I don't know where she would be putting stolen goods. I mean, that seems a little.
So technically, you guys,
That was weird.
technically, in some cases, yes, they are confiscating some things because they want control over it. They want to take inventory. They want it to flow through the normal process. In a way, if you're going to be fair, I guess, they don't want people, I guess, donating things directly to families, and then they don't know if that family's gotten
And then
aid,
they get more.
and then they don't know if they still need, the aid.
It's like, I mean, it's a natural disaster. In a disaster, it's impossible to have order.
It is impossible. It's nearly impossible.
To have order
Yeah.
in a disaster.
Yeah, because you have situations.
opinion.
You have situations where, I know they were sorting it there. I think the local government, maybe the state, is trying to, like Jen said, organize a situation that is disorganized, because there are areas, there are towns, there are small communities they can't get to. Some locals have 4x4s. They can load up their vehicles and they can get in those areas and help these families. And not letting them because you want to take inventory of everything just seems like you are delaying supplies in some cases. Not saying this is happening across the board, but for someone to say not true, 100% not true, BS. Some of it's true. Sometimes it's happening. So just maybe not on a huge scale. It's just in some cases they are taking supplies and rerouting them so they can kind of manage it. My family is in Elizabethton, Butler, Hampton, and if they would have said I need this and this, we would have got yeah. Well, and Robin, that's why when we were deciding whether or not to go in to get our daughter's boyfriend out of Weaverville, thankfully Weaverville is northwest of Asheville, on the outskirts of the worst disaster. So you can see from the video, I mean, we saw some flooded places. We saw a dam looking on the verge of breaking, of just failing, but we didn't see huge disaster areas. I've got a video of a girl in Asheville who showed everyone what she's going through. There's another video of a woman up in the mountains on the river. I'm just going to show you guys that. I think some of these videos, because I think the scale of this disaster, people are having a hard time understanding just how bad it is and how long it's going to take to recover, and how much ongoing aid people are going to need until the infrastructure is back in place. How do they find out who's in need?
That's what my question
I have heard
was.
that there were reports of FEMA officials going around and asking people what they needed. But the thing is, they would do that and then not return for a long time.
Yeah.
They're like, we told them what we needed. Where the heck did they go? But I think that's how they're going around to these places that are decimated, and they're trying to get some information
They should
on
just
levels
have
of need.
like a certain disaster kit that they give everybody.
Yeah,
just to start out.
Don't go around polling
Right?
people like bring supplies with you, right?
Like it's a restaurant.
Right? What do you need? Okay, I'll be back in a week. Take care of yourself.
Everybody needs.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. It's just maybe we should never mind. Where are my bookmarks? Bookmarks. There we go. Live research. I think I've gone off enough about HARP. If people want to still believe that, I'm not going to go to it. Yeah. Is this one? Yeah. Okay. This one, you guys, I want to show you another rumor that's out there. Stop that now. Is that that FEMA is that on the FEMA page? See if I could find that. That people that they're going to be taking people's land,
Really?
taking people's property. That's somewhere in here. I believe.
Why?
Let me go through blockading people. Yeah, that loans thing, that we should cover that too. So there's that, what like what Robin had heard. A lot of people have heard that too, Robin, that it's what the aid they're giving is only a loan. People have to pay it back. This is where they clarify that it's only if you have insurance, they will give you temporary money, but you do have to pay that back if
Oh,
you
they
have
just
insurance. Right. I'm just covering this again.
I think we might be here all night because Ryan is.
There's
in a
so
big
much.
rabbit
No,
hole.
you don't understand. There's so many rumors going around.
I'm
But
gonna be able to do.
in the cases where they don't have insurance, it is not a loan. In most cases, you don't have to pay it back. Where's they're not restricting airspace. That's true. They're not. There we go. FEMA is in the process of confiscating Helene survivor property. If I apply for disaster assistance and my land is deemed unlivable, my property will be seized. So this one is another one of those that is.
That makes no sense.
It's not true, but it kind of is. And I don't want to scare anybody out there, but
What?
no, I'll get in some cases, and this is really sad, you guys. This is really sad. But I'm going to show you a video. This guy talks about it where this volume of flooding. Well, let's read this first. FEMA cannot seize your property or land. Applying for disaster assistance does not grant FEMA or the federal government authority or ownership of your property or land. What they're doing when the FEMA goes out to assess damage is to figure out the level of assistance, the amount of money that they are going to provide homeowners to make the home safe, sanitary, and functional. So that's what that's for. FEMA is not the ones who would be confiscating land. Unfortunately, and again, it goes back to local government, and it goes back to rebuilding infrastructure. The flooding, there's a video I'm going to show you in a second that shows how the rivers, the flooding has actually redirected the rivers, you guys, the direction of the rivers across land. Some cases, they can't rebuild a road where the road was before because it's never going to be there again. Right. It's going to be water.
Some people are asking areas, like a lot of people are talking about lithium and quartz and titanium.
Yeah.
What does that have?
Yep. There's a community. It's funny you mentioned that because one of the interviews I'm going to show you, this woman is explaining that the community, there's mining towns up in these areas that have the where the silica comes from, and it's impacting the inventory that goes into a lot of electronics, and it's one of the few places she said that that comes from. So it could impact the price of electronics. I have a hard time believing Tennessee or North Carolina is the only place that can get silica.
I don't know,
but obviously
titanium.
There may be other things that it could affect. Disasters like that often do affect the markets, depending on what goods come from those areas. So it probably will have an impact of some kind. Yeah, no, that's a good point, you guys. But seizing land, what's going to happen probably is those areas where the river is redirected and they have to build a road. They have to build the road in some places where a house might have been. In those few circumstances, then they have to incur eminent domain. People will get paid what the market value, which I don't know how they come up with market value.
What if there was a house on that property?
Yeah.
That's
yep. So I'll show you this.
That does not sound
no.
Sound good to me.
Yeah, let's I'm going to share this with you guys. This is where this guy is actually shows some situations, some areas where the river is redirected, and that may be the case, and just how severely it has impacted the landscape. It's crazy. This guy is, I'll put his channel on chat too. I don't want to share anything without sharing their channel. This guy is on 3. And the title of this video is Separating the Truth from Rumors.
These people's homes that are close to where the river now is.
Hold on, I'm gonna
Of course,
go
from this way to this way, built easily and continue on like they always have. And then sometimes they go in and they say, okay, well, this road can no longer be here because, I mean, legitimately, I'm not overstating this. I'm saying that maps are going to have to be redrawn because the rivers have changed routes. They're literally flowing through people's properties now. The river has changed its course from this way to this way. We were driving through people's lawns, for example, to get around where the roads were completely erased. And that road is not going to be put back in its same position as it was before. So something like eminent domain is probably going to take over in a lot of these situations because that road is going to need to be rebuilt. And potentially these people's homes that are close to where the river now is, unfortunately, a road might have to go through their property and their home might be taken away.
if you look at the scale, you guys, the scale of the erosion, like the flood changed the shape of the land. And like he said, where road once was, there's nothing to put road there anymore. So they have to reroute a lot of these roads. And unfortunately, in some cases, they do have to go where there were formerly houses. And I know, see, a lot of this, Stephen, is a lot of the land that's been, well, the roads, yes, but the land that they may have to reroute roads to, no, they weren't state owned. So they're going to have to take over that land. That's why eminent domain even exists as a thing. Yeah. So appraised value, hopefully it's appraised value of when it was in good condition. See, I don't know how that works.
At
So it's
least
kind of
land values are high right now.
what they will
or were.
appraised value is what they will offer. So maybe last appraised value.
I hope so, because that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, that would make sense
That
if
would
it
not
was
be fair.
the most recent appraised value.
Because
I know,
of
right?
this.
Right.
Is that for the greater good? Maybe, maybe not. You can let me know in the comment section what you think about these will be taken over.
Look at that. I mean, look at that. Like the whole river's just shifted.
Yeah.
That used to be, look at all the road. That
Oh,
was
I
like
see.
houses down there. It's just the amount of change in the land, you guys, is crazy. So I do want to show, because you guys are talking about the silica, and there was an interview I found. This I probably the most interesting thing I found tonight. And it was this interview with this woman. She talks a lot about, so what we're going to be covering in this next video, you guys, are two rumors. Well, one is what you guys are talking about with the mining supplies that came out of the area. The other one is the rumors about the smells and the claim of, like, I can say bodies on YouTube, right?
I think so.
The unalived, I guess.
You just said it anyway.
That's true. So whatever. But she talks about that, you guys, and from her personal experience. And this woman, I will say it again, is a trained certified search and rescue, water search and rescue. She's actually been out there helping crews, and she tells the interviewer what she's experienced. She watched a neighbor, one of her neighbors is missing. She watched his house get washed away. It's fascinating.
And he's missing?
He's missing. A lot of people are missing. Fortunately, I think the volume of the missing, I think a lot of them are families from the area, not from the area, who can't get in touch with people,
Yeah.
who are fine. So I don't think it's like tons of people
But
who
I
are
mean,
missing are
there are
gone.
numbers.
But there are a lot of
There's
people,
something-
of people who have
Yeah.
passed. Yes. Yep. And it's
Well, it's not a
unfortunately,
small
no, it's not a small number at all. This is it right here. Yeah, this is a good one. So this one, Mark Honeycutt. So Mark Honeycutt, you guys, he was doing a flying channel. So his channel was focused on flying. I think it's mostly I don't know, hang gliders or something. He has been covering this disaster in a way that, like, I don't know, I kind of wanted to get in there and interview people, but then I'm like, the whole thing about interfering with the
Yeah.
emergency crews, I just didn't want to do that, and I'm definitely not going to do disaster tourism.
People are doing it already, so we don't need to be enough.
but you know, a lot of
Yeah.
YouTubers are, so you know.
That's what I'm saying.
So this is Mark Honeycutt. I put his link in the comments. He interviewed this woman, and when I first saw her, I'm like, oh, people are gonna claim she's conspiracy theorist, until she said her credentials, and I'm like, okay, she's legit, and she is not making this stuff up. This is the most again, you guys, this was the most interesting interview of all of them that I found. The title was a little clickbaity. It was they marked over 100 possible bodies in a 6-mile stretch of water. Well, not saying it's not true, but and I'll try not. It's only 17 minutes. I'll try to skip.
I am the owner of NC Outdoor Adventures. I live on this road. During the storm, this was completely underwater. This is the railroad tracks. Cleared the road ourselves. We dug this out ourselves. We got neighbors insulin that needed insulin. We got water to some folks that had been without food and water for 30 days. We were coming down here. The reason we were coming down here is we actually wanted to see if our neighbor was okay. We didn't know at the time that the houses were floating away because we were below the water line here on this road. Our house is actually 200 yards away from the river, but the river had come up 100 yards closer to our home. So what we could see, all of this was underwater here. This is our tubing put in.
So this is her community, you guys. She's from this area.
If you see over there in the distance, the metal thing, that was a swinging bridge that was over here. And this was my friend Lenny's home. Lenny's still missing.
This
Lenny's
home?
still missing.
The house, the chimney.
I'm sorry to hear that.
We saw his house float away. This was all during the hurricane, y'all. So like as soon as the winds were enough where we could safely get out, we came down here.
Would you say that was roughly maybe 12 on Friday?
I think it was like 10, 11 o'clock
10. So you
when
guys,
the wind started to die down. And now mind you, I think the important thing to say about this storm in Western North Carolina is Thursday night. This river is typically, the Toe River is typically 1.5 to 2.5 feet of water. Thursday night, before Hurricane Helene ever got here, this was 9 feet.
yeah.
Action stage, I'm a swiftwater rescue technician. Action stage for
Now, Swiftwater rescue technician. That's what I'm like. Okay, she's not just any old
That doesn't
person.
sound
Like
an easy
this woman knows what
job.
this woman knows what she's talking about, and she knows what she's seen and witnessed. So, she's a very credible source. Hey, Arthur,
Hi,
good to see you.
Arthur.
for this river is 6 feet. So this was at 9 feet and flooded. This part of this road down below us was already underwater before the hurricane ever got here.
Yeah, we were set up for failure for sure with how flooding
Absolutely.
beforehand.
And so we
She
already
talks
had
about
that.
land.
And then, of course, like I said, Lenny's house over here, Lenny is unaccounted for. We've been looking, we've done our best. We've contacted everyone we can contact at this point. The day before yesterday, we went from search and rescue, which means I'm searching and rescuing people to search and recovery. It no longer means I'm searching and rescuing people. It means I'm searching who've lost people or who have missing. They need to know that we are now in a recovery mission. They need to start preparing that if they're missing or
Trying to
not.
find what she talks about.
So that was so this house picked up tables and then it just went under.
So that house.
So yeah, we went to that house to rescue. We could get to check on someone, and most of these folks are elderly. And he did say he was planning on leaving. It had a porch on the front there. After this house was gone,
I'm trying to
Mr.
get to the point
Garland
where
over
she
there
talks to a
saw
National
the
Guard
cinder block
person
home here.
to talk
This
about
cinder block home
the
picked up and
what they're
and
finding.
were-
Sorry, you guys.
he
Up the
climbed them
hill?
out. That's the only way out.
And
he had to climb them out.
He rode out the winds.
The National Guard
Oh,
have
this is it.
have marked, with they being the National Guard, have marked over 100 bodies in a 6-mile stretch of river. Possible bodies, just
Yeah.
where they think they are. You can't see them, guys.
Is
The bodies, the smells, the things are either buried in sand or they're up in the
Yeah, I
trees
just
and
saw
they're
it.
crushed in sediment.
Yeah, I just saw a chicken right there. You couldn't really tell. Like you'd smell something, or you saw flies. Nothing.
Yeah.
so the National Guard. Is there a lot of National Guard helping right here?
There weren't at first. The first 4 days, 3 to 4 days, we were down here by ourselves.
Yeah.
We were helping each other. The only way this entire thing got cleared to here by locals, by
Yeah.
the local farmer and our neighbors.
So that what she just said, a National Guard person actually confirmed it to her,
Yeah.
because I had found another interview a few days ago of interview of a woman who made the same claim, and someone was like, "But Ryan, I thought you were debunking conspiracy theories, and this is all BS." And someone had gone, a guy had gone into Chimney Rock, whatever that's called, that community up in, it's been wiped out. He had gone in there and showed there wasn't anything like that. So it's not like that's everywhere, but obviously in her community, she witnessed it herself. She witnessed all of that, and she got confirmation from National Guard. So there are some communities where, Chimney Top, thank you, Robin. There are some communities where it is that bad. And that really is the case, and it's so tragic. But it is true in some cases. There are many people missing. Many people got swept away with their houses. They're unaccounted for, and they're buried. They're like buried. So
scary.
But she talks about
the evacuations that happened on this road were
when she reaches
they
down.
are now bringing in body recovery teams. They're specifically their goal is to specifically retrieve. And now it's sand piles. And I think it's important to mention, everybody's like, why is it so sandy? Because it's not like this in other parts, right? It's just mud. There's a reason that this is this way. You see that shiny stuff in there? It's mica. But these mines up here, there's 6 mines here, and they actually produce quartz silica. Every smart device in the world, every smart TV, every smart anything has to have quartz silica or it won't work. So right now, the tech industry is in they're spazzing out because all the quartz silica is here and no one can get to it because all their intakes from the water are trashed.
Well, also, it looks like the railroad tracks come right up to their building, and the railroad tracks down there are ruined.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a big issue too, right?
Correct. So they can't, the quartz silica, the sediment ponds, the washing, all of it is.
Dan, that's a good question. There are legitimate centers who are taking donations, and I would try to focus on the ones that are a lot of the church communities around here. You can literally, you can tell if you Google donating to Hurricane Helene victims, places to donate to, donate supplies to. I think that's a really good point. With cold weather coming in, I think they definitely need they need heaters. They need propane heaters with the propane tanks. They are getting some donations. I've seen a lot of videos of people are starting to donate heaters now with propane heaters with propane tanks because it's just that time of year, and they're going to be a lot of people are still without power. So yeah, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it.
Is on hold right now because there's so much damage, and they're all in Mitchell County. But because of the mines, we don't have in the Piedmont, you have red clay. And I think this is contributed to a little bit of why the erosion here is just so vast in this county, is because the sediment, soil and sediment of the bank is made mostly of sand, and it's sand and sediment from the mines. It's what they have left. So you're not seeing the red clay that holds the banks together here. You're seeing the sand. Look at that sand over there. It's all sand, like a beach.
Yeah, which is kind of weird for the mountains.
And that is because of the mining industry here.
Yeah.
And it just makes the banks a little looser. So as a matter of fact, we were planning on live staking, but yeah.
I don't know. She didn't explain what live staking is. If somebody can tell me, I have no idea. But yeah, so I don't know if that's going to affect the electronics industry. I don't know how much they supplied.
It might.
But that is one industry that apparently it just got wiped out and completely just. There are places, you guys, I've watched way too many videos, and seeing the devastation throughout the areas, the number of homes, and I'll show you, a lot of people, they didn't have their home decimated, right? But they are living without, if you think about living without, we did it during blizzards for maybe a week. I think the most we ever did was 2 weeks. We drove to the lake and got water from the shore. We broke the ice at the shore and we got water. That was 2 weeks. These poor people are they're just how many weeks now since the hurricane, and they're still trying to figure out how to go without power. And that's why this one to me is such a personal, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it, please. Life on the ground after the hurricane. Yeah. So, and she's such a typical like Asheville type, isn't she?
Yeah.
So this girl is going to show you guys sort of a more of a very personal look at what it was like for her. She's in Asheville. Again, her channel is very tiny. I don't know why, because her video is great, but I don't think maybe she doesn't post a lot. This one got 81,000 views though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a Quartzy Life. I'm going to put her link in the chat.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
She doesn't post a lot.
Well, maybe she just started, it looks like.
She might have. She lives in the area, and she shared a very insightful video about what life is like in Asheville right now. Man, I saw, oh yeah, there's so many. I saw this one couple who drove into Asheville when the hurricane was starting, and they got trapped by the flooding at a hotel. It was crazy. Some of the scenes from Asheville, especially the Arts District, is just heartbreaking. But this is a little bit of insight into what Asheville went through. It's called Life on the Ground After the Hurricane.
Hi from Asheville. It has been an absolutely crazy and insane past couple of days.
I think she chose the Art District probably.
Yeah.
Rain from Hurricane Helene started falling on the night of September 26th, and so on the morning of the 27th, many people in our community woke up to complete and total devastation because of the height of the floodwater. The footage that you're looking at here is from the 28th, the first day my husband and I could get out. This is the overflowed French Broad River, which runs through Asheville. We're looking at it going south on I-26 here. During this event, it crested at a record nearly 25 feet high. As you can see, there are dilapidated buildings, debris, cars, trailers. I mean, you name it, we have seen it in this water.
Crazy.
So on this day, we were on our way to the town of Black Mountain, where I live and have my art studio, just wanting to check on everything and get any food and water I had so we could bring it back up to Rob's. This is footage of us coming into town. These are roads that I drive on almost every day, and seeing this town for the first time made me feel extremely grateful to have a standing structure to live in.
This is the Art District.
We also got a look at the River Arts District, which is just this amazing hub in Asheville for artists, many of whom have studios in this area. There are shops and galleries with tons of locally made work. I personally had my cards and stickers in 4 different galleries and shops in this area, and whatever I had there is long gone. Most of this area has just been completely devastated. At this point, around day 10, we're receiving a lot of reports that because of toxins, chemicals, at this point,
you can see how high the water got by that water line on the building. Like, and they had to pull out they had to clear out all of the furniture and just all of the damaged wood. It's crazy how high it got.
Around day 10, we're receiving a lot of reports that because of toxins, chemicals, garbage, and other waste that's been washed up by the river, the cleanup efforts in this area are actually quite dangerous because there's so much dirty, moldy mud. So it was heartbreaking to see all this, to say the least, and that was just on day 1 before the water went down and revealed more of the devastation below it. September 30th was day 3 and my birthday. At this point, we still had no internet, Wi-Fi, cell service, running water, or power, but we had a neighbor who let us cook on a gas stove, so we were able to eat a piece of salmon that we had that was going to go bad because we have no way to refrigerate food. It was the first time in 3 days I had protein. Another part of daily life now is figuring out ways to get water in Asheville, since the area in general, then and still 10 days later, doesn't have running water. We are very fortunate to have a small creek near the house, which we've been using to get water, primarily for flushing the toilet, since we also can't do that without refilling the tank every time we need to use it.
I'll tell you guys, one of the most thankful things about being in this area, I think, is like even when we went to Weaverville to get our daughter's boyfriend out and bring them some supplies, was that they also had a creek. Like, creeks are everywhere, and so thankfully people had that as a supply of at least water they could boil or use for flushing and things like that.
Again, everyone is experiencing the effects of this storm to varying degrees, but for most of us in Asheville and the surrounding areas, we, at the very least, even after 10 days, still don't have basics like power or water. So it has felt very strange to suddenly have to incorporate into daily life these very primal methods of
Things you
getting
don't think
by
about.
and surviving,
You know?
in addition to dealing with just the emotional weight of the heavy feelings that have come along with our community just becoming a disaster zone overnight. It's just been very surreal. At the time of filming all, still don't have basics at this point with sanitation in general, as we also can't take out our garbage, run dishwashers, or shower. In terms of food, for the first few days, we pretty much were just kind of scrounging. Okay, so this is our...
Here's, I want to show you this part, you guys, just because this highlights how communities around here are. She said that, but earlier, I think in the video, she said there was a neighbor who, when they got some power and water, they started letting all of their neighbors come over to take showers, to fill up their bottles with water like that. And it was like way down the road, not even an immediate neighbor. It was, I think she said she had to walk like 3 miles or something. But, and then where she got her fresh goods here too.
Our day 6 food supply. Let me find a place to put my lantern. At this point, yeah, we just have like leftover stuff that we had kind of before all this started. Carrots, eggs. This is gas station food because a gas station was the only place open to like buy new stuff from. This is chicken, which at this point has gone bad and will not be able to use. I think we were just using it because it was like frozen and it was keeping other things cold. This is cheese from a local restaurant that was giving out food that was going to go bad yesterday. That's where this is from. That's where this is from. So any of like the fresh stuff, yeah, that comes from restaurants.
Local restaurants, you guys, gave out food to the community for free. Instead of letting it go to waste, they gave out food.
I mean, that makes sense.
It's the right thing to
gonna go
do.
bad.
I don't know. To me, it's, I don't know, it just highlights, honestly, it seems like communities around here especially are just like that. They help each other. So anyway, it just, this whole thing to me, it highlighted the fact that, oh, and they've got a motorcycle to get around. That's kind of cool. Like
Found as an alternative to using a car. Rob's also used the bike a few times to get around on riskier roads where only ATVs and army vehicles have been going, to check on some friends and acquaintances we hadn't heard from and just wanted to check on their safety. And I've been joining him to get to and from my house every few days, though the situation there is still that we are without water and electricity.
It's so scary.
Yep. So yeah, and I want to show that because it's not just the people who've had their houses destroyed. There are people living like her right now. A lot, probably more people in the area who their house didn't get affected, but they've got nothing. So I think the last thing I wanted to show, and I love it because it's this older guy, this older Southern guy who was interviewed, and his was one of the few houses that didn't get destroyed.
Yeah.
His attitude, I just love his attitude. But because the interviewer was trying to get to the bottom of the FEMA claims, and that's the FEMA interview too that I wanted to. So let's do that one next. I think that one is a good way to top off everything because it covers a lot about a lot of the rumors. If I could find the right one. Oh yeah, I'm getting really good at this. Okay, this guy is Nick Shirley. He's got a pretty good sized channel.
He looks like a car salesman.
He's a young kid. He looks like a young kid. I don't know
him.
if
I was talking about, never mind. Ignore the Jennifer.
Link to his channel in the chat. And she's funny too. She's really funny. All right.
By Hurricane Helene. And to this day, Hurricane Helene is the most deadly and most damaging hurricane since Hurricane Katrina. The total number local by the name of Thad, who explains exactly how this all happened. And many of the roads actually go inside later in this video, but first I had to meet the neighbor named Thad.
How's it going, sir? Good. How you doing?
Love this guy.
Good.
Good.
Can you show us a little bit what's going on?
Yeah, I can show you this, whatever you want.
Where are we at right now?
We call Broad River. I've been here 77 years, and this is the worst that I've actually ever seen in my life.
Have you guys ever experienced anything like this
No,
here?
no. Only thing that we experienced one time ago was there was a storm, a hurricane, not a hurricane, but a blizzard of 93. That was the worst we'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm. And your house is one of the only few here inside this little valley that's still standing.
Yeah, our house is so far up from the river.
Mm-hmm.
The river is behind us.
Did the water get up to your home?
No, the water did not get up. I've always said if the water got here, the whole valley would be gone.
So take me through the night of the hurricane.
The night of the hurricane, I was here and I stayed, and it kept raining and raining and raining and raining. And but the thing about it, it rained for a week here before it ever got here. And the ground got so saturated. And that's why, and then all of a sudden the hurricane came in.
So it was a combination of the rain that was coming through for a few weeks, and then when the hurricane came through.
I think that was half the problem in this area. How much rain we got before the hurricane, because the ground was already saturated. So any place that was even near the water table.
He's lucky he had no trees, because it was the trees that
fell.
the rain saturated the ground so much that the trees just fell over.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
It sounded like the soil was already ready.
It's so saturated. And then it brought a lot of that was my niece's house that you seen up the road. That's one that got destroyed.
We know, like in the news right now, they're talking about FEMA, the federal government, anything like that. Are you guys seeing any response from them up in here, or?
I ain't seen a truck or nothing. Nothing.
For how many years do you think this town's going to be in recovery?
I think a year. Maybe 2 years. Some of it will be about 2 years before it ever gets back halfway normal. I'm thinking as far as our power out here, our power will be probably I'd say 3 to 4 weeks, because they got to rebuild the power lines and everything.
So you guys, I mean, this guy knows who he's talking. He does know what he's talking about, because he's seen a lot in his life. And he knows that the amount of infrastructure, the amount of houses, and he was realistic about the power. He's like, they're going to get power in a few weeks, but the community, rebuilding the community, is going to take like 1 to 2 years. That
makes sense.
That means a lot of these people are going to be in the situation for a long time and needing help for a long time.
Are you still functioning inside your house right now? You got no water, you got no energy. How are you living?
And then his niece lost her house.
If it means anything.
This is his niece.
Got completely wiped away.
This is my niece.
Her house got wiped out.
How you doing?
You and me nice. You hear what I say. And if it means anything to you, you'll remember.
Okay.
My daddy built that house in the 60s. Board by board, nail by nail. He laid to Mama's dreams. Mama's dreams and Daddy's hard work was down the river. The only piece of paper we found was from his obituary 7 years ago. To the day my daddy died 7 years ago.
Today?
To the day.
Hear what she said, you guys. Mama's dreams and Daddy's hard work. There are generations of people in these mountain communities who just lost everything in just a few days.
So sad.
And that was surreal that her daddy's everything got wiped out, and she's like, it was on the day that he passed, and they only found his obituary.
September 27th, it took the house.
Kept his obituary though.
We found it laying there, not a piece of mud on it.
God does work some miracles. And now we're gonna go down into the house. This is the lady we just talked to. This is her house right here. Has been completely wiped away. You can see this is
this guy
the
hates
master
FEMA.
bedroom.
This guy right here hates
We're gonna talk to one of the guys.
Coalition of civilian and retired military individuals here that are working totally off donations. This is tax-free to the American public, right? We're not operating on any tax dollar. We saw a problem. We have a bunch of individuals who are motivated, who have very distinct backgrounds. You know, for me, I was 26 years retired Air Force Special Operations. My job is to control the aircraft here. My job is to get these guys loaded and get them out to the people who need them across the valley over there who are knocked out. The rest of the guys here are facilitating. We've got this whole area.
Who? Are you guys seeing anything on a federal level?
Who? What?
Who?
Yeah, so they haven't seen anything.
There's my answer.
Who?
The answer is no. We have not seen them. Individuals who have
Oh,
gone out
whoa.
and
Wait,
gone to
what?
certain.
Arthur, are you serious? I went
Oh
I went
no.
hiking there, I think a year ago, and it's beautiful. So all of those buildings at the David Crockett birthplace are gone. That's
Sad.
oh, that's horrible. That place is beautiful. Oh man.
At least it didn't
areas
belong to somebody
have
who's
been turned
poor.
away by FEMA. They have been actively, I guess, hindered by FEMA. So our role here is to keep the federal government out of this area completely. We are sustaining lives. Our job is to keep the living alive at this point.
Yeah, I don't want to make this video a political video of Trump or Kamala, but
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the politics, but he definitely is against the government.
Yeah.
He interviewed a bunch of people at the FEMA place, and the variety of opinions he got was really interesting.
we're going to go talk to people right now and see what is going
Right.
on with FEMA.
I waited 4 hours yesterday in line, didn't get it through. My wife was on the call center, the hotline number. That was a dead end. So here I am again after work trying to get in through,
Really?
trying to get help.
On the internet, they're saying that FEMA is blocking aid or they're not giving.
Right, that's what
supplies
I've
to
heard
people.
too. My wife said it was a dead end for her on the call line, that they said that we didn't apply. So I had a tree fall through my house and was out of work for a week. Food went bad. I don't know how we don't apply, but that's what I'm here trying to figure out.
And what are you hoping to receive?
So that is a little troubling that people who literally had a tree fall on their house got denied initially. Yeah, that is a little disturbing. But
Say good night to Vicky.
Good night, Vicky.
Night, Vicky. I'm thinking about you.
Just to figure out what's going on, maybe help with my house. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
So far, what we've heard, they're giving.
Oh, I'm going to colors.
I'm sure $1 million. Say the people here are losing faith in the federal government,
This
or do you
one
think
is
it's just been a
different.
lot of misconceptions online?
I think that it's an awful lot of misconceptions online. I haven't lost my faith in the government. There's a lot of things that the government does that I don't like, but this is one of the things I do like. The Biden administration, all of them, they were here. Biden was here. The governor was here. They've all come and checked on us and asked us
trying not to
exactly what
make
we
Yeah, I know.
need, and they have given it to us in a very,
Yeah, I
very
know.
short period of time.
So do you feel happy with the response from
Oh
Biden
my
Harris?
gosh, yes, I do. I feel very, very strong about what they have done. I am so relieved and so happy that, and he didn't want to come in here and just cause chaos. He flew over the area.
So see, you guys, it's such a
But he's a little bit biased, obviously. He's not even listening to her.
such a variety of opinions depending on who you talk
I
to.
know, but he's not being unbiased with how he feels.
Well, no. And then this woman
Which
is
I'm not even saying it like either way.
this woman's a riot. I love her. She's just
Well, I applied for it and they denied me, so I'm coming up here to stand on business and see why they denied me and try to see if I can get some help.
Why did they deny you?
I don't know. Why do they deny anybody? You know, you might not have the right question, answering the right questions. You know, it should be trick questions on there. You know what I'm saying?
So what are they asking you in order to get the support from FEMA?
I don't know. They had asked me something like, I guess whenever you was the trees falling down in front of your home and all of that stuff, and they tell you answer yes to be honest, because I didn't have no trees, but I was trapped in my whole entire community 3 ways. I stayed out in Swananoa. It was a whole catastrophe out there. I was in the critical area, you know.
And so because you didn't have a tree fall through your house, FEMA denied you.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, we all should get help over here because we lost food. I still ain't got water. I got lights, hallelujah, but we ain't got no water. I'm using damn bottled waters to wash my ass. You know what I'm saying? That ain't cool. You know, I feel like, you know, like we should get some more help. Then when they give you them vouchers, that's to go all the way to Greenville,
That's what you were
Tennessee,
saying.
Georgia. Like, who
Stupid.
got a car to go that far out?
Right.
What the fuck? Then why? I know our state had a little hit tragedy, whatever. But damn, you would think they'd open up some hotels
Robin.
around here in the city to serve some of these families who don't have nowhere to go. But it's not FEMA's fault. That's our city's fault.
I'm just trying to get to the truth of
See, that's important what you just said. It's not FEMA's fault, it's the city's fault. A lot of this stuff is, I think, it's being hampered by local
It sounds like it.
community, like the local leadership. I think is now
It's like they want to take over.
they want to control it all,
Yeah.
and even local leadership they don't like federal government coming in. No, it's very much, yeah. I think local authorities do not like the government telling them what to do. And I think that's hampering a lot of the aid. This woman from FEMA actually clarifies a whole lot right here.
The misconceptions that are on the internet and
So
talk to
we're
some
here
people.
to help. We have brought out so many employees from all over the country, including Puerto Rico. So every day we have more help coming in so that we can do more and more registrations so these survivors can get the help that they need.
What kind of information are you getting from the DHS? Is like, what do they want you guys doing for the people? Just registering them, or what are in the?
Yeah, registering them.
What's the registration process like? What kind of questions are?
This part's really important. And again, if you have family in these areas, listen carefully to what she says, because I think people are getting initially denied, which happens a lot with federal government programs. Disability constantly, anybody applying to disability will get denied like 5 times until you take it to court or you get seen by a disability judge. And then they're like, okay. So what she says here is critical for anybody trying to apply. Don't give up the first time.
Sorry, if you're getting
just, Social Security, address.
One lady got denied. She said she came back today. So like as far as like the home coverage of the home.
Oh yeah, if they get denied, it just means that FEMA needs more information. So if somebody has insurance, we don't duplicate the coverage. So if they're denied by insurance or anything that their insurance covers, we try to help.
It was interesting to talk to some of the people at the FEMA booth, as some were very happy with.
So that's important. That's important, I
But
think.
she still say that they would get something up front. Like,
Oh. The 750, the 750 is what everyone will get.
Didn't mention 750.
Well, that's
She
that.
said something whatever insurance doesn't cover.
Right. They take into account if somebody already has some aid with insurance, then they will take that into account. But
Sound like they're giving them anything up front.
I think they're making it not easy. People are getting denied, but if they keep applying, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion, just like everyone else.
Thank you. Of course, I'm nicer than some people.
Yeah. No.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. I mean, they
If I
need it.
could, if I had money.
People there obviously need it. So, yeah.
I think we've hit this
Right.
bad boy.
Right. I tried to do some research on this one because there's so many rumors flying around, you guys. Yes.
And video until 0 o'clock.
Yeah. Yes, homeowners insurance usually does have a deductible. It could be up to 1,000, I think, or more. So
Just take.
they
care
require a
of
deductible. What?
Food. That's a good question.
Where's that? Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I think what that FEMA woman was saying is anything the insurance doesn't cover. And I think that's what the 750 for people is, things like immediate loss of food and gas.
I think they would cover clothing lost in the flood, because I know when we had issues with a small flood in our basement, they covered clothing loss. But I don't think they definitely wouldn't cover food or anything.
Insurance wouldn't.
No, but insurance did cover our clothing.
Unless it got anything that got wiped out in a flood, if they have the right kind of insurance, it would cover everything.
I don't think it would cover
Food that was in the fridge. I don't know.
it would cover the fridge.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. That's a
Same
good question.
Same, Pam.
Yeah.
If we had more than enough to play with, I think we would too. So yeah.
No matter who you are, even if you have a ton of money, it's not going to help if you can't get to a grocery store, or if your power doesn't work or you have no water. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pay it back later or whatever.
Definitely not overnight, Robin. The insurance is slow, so people definitely need help. I will say the eminent domain thing is probably going to have the biggest impact on people near the roadways and the river. That's the thing that I think is going to be
scary to me.
Yeah, it's going to be an ongoing thing. I hope they're fair. I hope they're fair to the homeowners, and they do give them appropriate assessed value of their home so they can relocate, buy a new home somewhere. But still, you guys think about, like, some things are priceless. When you talk about generations of families who've lived in some of these mountain communities, and everything they've ever had for generations is now just wiped out. Eminent domain in that case is really sad because it's gone. The land is gone, you know, permanently. So
Hey, Arthur.
good night, Arthur. Good night, Shelley. And we're gonna head out
Night,
to.
Shelley.
I know this wasn't our typical video live. But this is what's going on around here, you guys. This is
I mean, it's important to talk about, and Ryan loves his conspiracy theories, so
I will jump
let
on.
him go with
Yeah,
that.
I will jump on any conspiracy
Sorry if I looked like I was like asleep.
to either prove or disprove. Obviously, you can see tonight I've proven some aren't entirely false and some are, in my opinion, entirely false. Like
True.
controlling the weather. So we will be getting, I think, again, don't hold me to it. We kind of change our minds week to week, depending on how we feel. We want
Yeah.
to go down there and help do some of the cleanup work, I think. But we keep going back and forth. We keep looking at our list of search locations, and
Oh,
I don't know.
we did a good search this weekend, so maybe next weekend. Just
Maybe we can
move them forward.
alternate. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But it's getting late. I know a lot of you guys want to get to bed, and we do too. So we're gonna head out for the night. Thank you all so much for joining us. We had
Thank you.
pretty good crowd here tonight, and yeah, have a good week and try not to think about all this horrible stuff going on. People are going to make it
Yeah.
through. Communities are going to keep supporting each other around here. Neighbors are going to support neighbors, and we'll all get through it.
Right.
What really matters is people and the community and
Definitely.
and the neighbors. It's like I said at the end of the last video, communities aren't the buildings and the bridges and the infrastructure, it's the people. So we have to keep that in mind and just help each other out, help each other get through this. So anyway,
And if you guys want to, you can join me tomorrow morning at
Yes.
7:00 for the weekly reading. Love to have you guys there. I love our little group.
yes, please keep your prayers going for everyone right now.
Yes.
It's a lot. Next 2 years are going to be a lot for everyone. So keep those prayers going. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
As always, for all of your support for our channel, for our work, for our searches, for everything we do. We count on you guys, and you drive us. So thank you all so much.
Love you guys.
Hope you have a great week. Hope you have a good night, and talk to you later.